Welcome to Industry Outlook, presented by Expeditors Online and Load One. I'm your host, Brandon Baxter. My guests today are the newly minted Executive Chairman of the Board for Load One, John Elliott, and also newly minted CEO for Load One, Jack Donnell. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Morning.
Morning, Brandon.
Pleasure to have you guys here. And before we really get into, the big news, John, let's begin with an overview of yourself and Load One's backstory, and then I'll let you formally introduce Jack to our audience.
Load One I founded a little over 21 years ago. We've had a really nice run in the expedite industry, seeing obviously consistent, steady growth as you've seen over the years, and most people in the industry, moving us up to a top 3 player now. We've continued to look for ways to enhance and expand and grow the company. That's always been my real focus. Our vision is we want to be the best in the industry, and bringing Jack on board is just one more step, another, I'll say, tool in our toolbox to help us achieve that end.
Excellent. And Jack, welcome aboard. Congratulations on being named CEO of Load One. Can you give our audience just a kind of a bit of a background on who you are, what your transportation experience brings to Load One?
Well, good morning to you, Brandon. Nice to meet you.
My pleasure.
So my name is Jack Donnell, and I have been, this is day one at Load One, so we're jumping right in to do this podcast, so we're thrilled to do that.
Awesome.
Look, I spent the last 2 years with FedEx Custom Critical. I was, I was responsible for the commercial function of the organization. I also managed our operational capacity, how we source, so our owner-operator network, our fleet. Prior to that, I'm a longtime UPS executive. I was there almost 24 years, retired in 2012. And with UPS, lived both in Asia and Europe, lived outside of the US for about as long as I was in the US. So I had a variety of rotations there as well. Long been in the industry. I've had a variety of roles throughout transportation. Absolutely, thrilled to be in the expedited space. There's so much potential and opportunity here. And that's what, quite frankly, is brought me to the conversations with John that led to this. Is I'm absolutely thrilled with where Load One is, where it's going, and wanted to be a part of it.
Awesome. And it's a good time to jump in and really make that kind of splash with Load One. Obviously, John and I we go back for quite some time now, so it's nice to see you. Nice to have you aboard, Jack. Again, welcome. If I can, I'd like to ask you each to maybe discuss your what are your new roles? What are these moves going to look like for Load One?
For me, as we've continued to grow and expand in that, being the CEO is really responsible to run the day-to-day operations of the company. And I have done that since inception. And as we grow and it continues to get busier and busier in that, I found that for myself personally, I'm more of a concept guy, builder guy, vision guy, culture guy, and getting tied down to those things were not the day-to-day kind of functions, were not essentially the things that I wanted to do, or they were holding us back to an extent from executing on some of our growth initiatives and visions that we had for the company. So I felt it was time for me to, after all this time, to turn the reins over of my baby. I was operations manager of a 75 truck company when I was like 24 years old. So I've been 24/7 on since I'm older than 24 now. Obviously, I've got more hair and that stuff. But I'd like to, also enjoy a little, or be able to do some more things with my life and that, with my daughter and everything. So this really lets me focus on the parts of the industry and business that I enjoy and I think that I'm good at.
My role really is just going to be, as CEO, it's really to take the company where it's at and continue to grow it, expand it, both organically and through acquisition. I mean, there's a lot in this space that we can do to continually to expand and grow. I think this market is an attractive market, and there's so much potential. Load One has a phenomenal foundation that John built. And my goal is, reporting to John as our executive chairman will be to take what he has built and continue to scale it as we take this company, to the next 20 years. And, just absolutely thrilled with what's in front of us. It's a tremendous opportunity to take what has been built. I've had a lot of success in my past with taking organizations and scaling them and growing them. And I plan on doing the exact same thing at Load One.
Timing is everything. I don't think there's a perfect time or a non-perfect time in industry.
Right.
Obviously, we've gone through a really hard freight recession that everyone has seen and felt. But Brandon, on a personal level, everybody has to go through hard times.
Sure.
One thing, we've always ran the company very conservative, that we were strong and able to weather storms. Obviously we're fine shape. I mean, everyone can be better. I mean, we were all happier 2 years ago in this industry, but
sure,
obviously we're built by design to be able to take storms, and so we're handling the storm. But I think, if you look at any downturn, for us, it's always been, how do we find opportunity in those downturns? How do we make something good come out of something? And we're going to do that this downturn, just like we've done every other one. We've always grown coming out of them. We positioned ourselves and positioned the company to be able to grow and to take advantage of that downturn. And I hate saying that the industry is changing. The herd is getting thinned a little, which has to happen. A lot of people jumped in when things were great and then realized that was not sustainable. And so I think we're, as an industry, we're going to come out of this, but I think you're going to see us come out even stronger than going into it.
Do you feel like a move such as this right now? I mean, you said, like, there's really not a rhyme or reason or a specific, when is the right time, when is the wrong time, but what type of effect, if any, do you feel this might have on the expedite industry itself?
The industry as a whole, I think it'll be a positive. I think Load One as a brand has always represented very positive, high road, do it right kind of business. We're going to continue to do that. So I think it's very positive. I mean, we really have 2 or 3 other large competitors, and who are, again, all about the frenemies, as I always say. We all do business, we all compete, but we do it right. They all do, and so I think that having strong, good companies on top that do it right, set the example and set the tone for the industry, and I think we're going to continue to do that. And honestly, I like to lead. I don't want to be number 2 or 3. I like to lead, no matter what it is.
Yeah, and Brandon, as we scale this company for in the future, as we take this thing forward, obviously we want to continue to always operate with the highest integrity, with the best ethics, but we also have to scale this company.
Sure.
Because as we all know, the recession we're in will turn, and when it turns, we want to be in the driver's seat as the opportunity presents itself down the road. So I think one thing, also back to one of your previous questions, we're going to be able to do, John and I are going to be able to look further down and maybe peek around corners as to where the industry might be going and start doing things differently to get ready for it. Now that he has a CEO that can run the day-to-day, that's run big companies, and quite frankly, then let him really take a view of what that long-term strategic outlook for Load One will look like.
And we've always been a little different. I mean, you look at, I think across the industry, you've seen most people have cut their staffs. During the downturn, we have not. In fact, we invested and grew our sales team to one of the largest in the business industry now. Again, because those things were investments to me. We had to protect our fleet. I mean, obviously no one's moving as well as they were, but we have to do everything we can investment wise in sales and to support the fleet, support our carrier base. And we try to move, always tried to make longer term moves than short term quarterly decisions.
Yes, we're in the recession, specifically trucking recession, being ready for that opportunity to come back out of it. I think this is a great move. And again, congratulations to both of you. And I'm glad that we've had an opportunity to jump on here and talk this morning. Before we wrap up, I mean, guys, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about? Anything else you'd like to add? Maybe anything that's coming down the pike for Load One?
I think the only thing I would really add is I really want to welcome Jack on board. We were incredibly diligent in who would take my seat in that, because I really believe that companies are top-down driven. So the person to sit in that seat is pretty critical. And Jack I mean, on top of his business mind, he's just a good person. Has the right culture aspect, not walking in some stuffy, spreadsheet board suit kind of thing.
Right.
But get his hands dirty, talk to people. I really liked his approach. I felt it was very much like mine, and that represents good continuity. And I think that's important in a transition in a company, especially at this size. So again, I'm just really excited about the future and having Jack at the helm there.
No, just absolutely thrilled to be here. Again, this is the very first, this is day one at Load One. And I meet some of the other executives a little bit later after this interview. So
All right.
this is right out of the gate. This is first, action of business.
Terrific. Terrific. It's great to have you aboard. Again, both of you guys, congratulations. Thank you so much. This has been Industry Outlook presented by Expeditors Online and Load One. I've been your host, Brandon Baxter. Until next time.